Thanks for joining us for Young Bucks, Old Goats, episode number 63. We're going to be discussing whether we still think Tua Tagovailoa is a bust or not. We're going to preview the Bills-Dolphins Week 17 matchup with playoff implications. And we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming NFL draft. So, you guys ready to go? Let's do it. Hey, what's up, guys? Young Bucks, Old Goats. Here with episode 63, and a while back in episode 32, I did a Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a bust. Why I thought he was going to be a bust in the NFL. So some time has passed. That was like right after the draft. Obviously, we're about to play a win and get in scenario game with the Buffalo Bills, and I just wanted to revisit that episode and see what some of my thoughts are now versus what they were then, how I think he's doing. I want to know what you guys think he's doing too. By the way, Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a Happy New Year. Cheers for that. I'll drink every chance I can get. And we're going in a win and get in scenario. When I started thinking about doing this episode, the news had not broken about Fitzpatrick yet, so we're not going to have Fitz against the Bills Week 17. We're going to have Tua with no safety net, no training wheels. We're going to get, maybe it's a blessing in disguise, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that he's going to play knowing there's no chance they're going to pull him out. The play, Gailey's going to call the plays knowing, this is what I got. So that's pretty much where we're at with him. Just to recap my first episode when I did this back in episode 32, some of the reasons that I cited where I thought it'd be unlikely he'd have to break a lot of trends because no Saban quarterbacks really make it in the NFL, no Alabama quarterbacks really make it in the NFL. We'll get into why that could be a little bit later. Lefties, there's not a lot of great lefties. The Dolphins haven't really produced anything at that position since Dan Marino. So, in addition, the injury-prone tag. I even forgot back then to mention Hawaiian. Not a bunch of Hawaiian quarterbacks, even though we have Mariota out there right now, but not a ton of success. So let's compare him to Fitzpatrick real quick. Who, by the way, I was really disappointed that we're not gonna get to have him at least as an option, but that was kind of cool to be able to have a guy of that caliber waiting in the wings in case anything goes wrong, whether it be injury, inconsistent play, or what have you. The Dolphins back in the 80s, they had the Woodstock where it was David Woodley was the young quarterback. He was kind of like a run-first guy, athlete kind of guy that we were trying to make into a quarterback. But also, if that guy was having a real bad game and we needed to start throwing a lot, they had Don Strock, who was like a long-time greasy backup. He would be able to come in and sort of play that relief pitcher role that Fitzpatrick has played a couple times here. So they had Woodstock, we had Fitz Tua. It's nice to have the options. We're not going to have them this week for sure. And one of those years, the Dolphins went all the way to the Super Bowl. It was the 1982 strike shortened season. Some people say if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. In this type of scenario, in both those cases, I think it works. It's obviously not going to work with Aaron Rodgers. If you have Aaron Rodgers, you're going to ride through that. But if you have a young guy, there's going to be things thrown at him that he hasn't seen before, scenarios that he's not suited, that a veteran, I think 16-year veteran, Fitzpatrick, has probably seen it all. So, what a combination to have. Anyways, comparing the two real quick. So we got Tua, he's sitting at 6-2, and Fitzpatrick is at 4-3. Tua, he's completing about 65% of his passes, which is not bad. 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's really good. 1,400 yards, 1,453. This is the part that's not so great. 6.3 yards per attempt. And he's at a 93 rating here. Fitzpatrick 4-3. He's got a better completion percentage, 68.5%. More yards, 2,091. More attempts, 267. Even though I think he's played less, 7.8 and a 95.6 rating. So obviously the numbers, other than Fitzpatrick, do I have his touchdown numbers here? Let's see. Other than Fitzpatrick has probably thrown more interceptions. Pretty much he's let's see here. He's pretty much 13 TDs versus 8 picks. But that's part of the problem. That Fitzpatrick, I don't know why I keep calling him Fitzgerald. Fitzpatrick is willing to take those chances. And Tua, up until now, has just seemed like a guy who wants to have a 10-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Like, it almost seems like he's focused on not making a mistake, not getting benched, and you can't be afraid to throw an interception. You can't be afraid to throw the ball downfield. I have some deep pass numbers here. In the last 2 weeks, no 20-yard passes for Tua. 15 yards or over on the season, he is completing 35.9% of those passes. That's ranked number 31 out of 36 in the NFL. Fitzpatrick, 62.5% on those 15 yards and more passes, which is throwing the ball downfield. So 62.5% for Fitzpatrick. That's tied for first. That's on 48 attempts. Tua is on 36 attempts. So in that Raider game that Tua got benched, I'm surprised it took so long. In the first half, he did not even attempt a pass, or he attempted one pass. It was incomplete, over 10 yards. You got to be able to at least put fear in the heart of those defensive coordinators, of those defensive backs, that you could throw one. Maybe you don't complete it. Maybe you get a PI. Maybe you do get one. But so many things can happen when you throw it downfield. But if you don't even attempt them, then you're making that job of that defense so much easier, which is something that he knows it. The Miami coaches know it. The defenses know it. So that's something that he has to change. Do I think this guy's still going to be a bust? That's still, the jury's out on him. But he needs to make those changes to be better. That's for sure, after seeing him play now. The other part of the scenario is this guy is used to playing in Alabama with the most superior athletes in the country. And open in Alabama, it's not the same thing as open in the NFL. Open in Alabama, maybe there's 5 yards of separation, and it's very easy for him to see that somebody's open. Open in the NFL could be a yard of separation. It could be, a really, for a second in a small window and in a quick time. He's not going to get Alabama open in the NFL. There's a big difference, and in the NFL, you're not going to get that big drop. Yes, you have good and bad teams, but the drop-off is not going to be what it could be in a college schedule from 1 week to the next. There's a big difference in talent sometimes, especially for a school like Alabama. So we need to start taking some chances. We need to stop worrying about those stats, throwing some deep balls. There's people out there that'll tell you that the Dolphins need to draft a quarterback next year. I'm one of those people, and I'm not necessarily saying we need to draft it because this guy's already a bust. But Shula did it for a long time. He always had a guy in the pipeline. Not a bad idea to throw some more competition. I don't know what the plans are for Fitzpatrick, but always a good idea to have somebody there in the pipeline. You kind of do it with other positions. Why not with this one that's so important? Shula, for a while, had guys he was drafting, to get somebody. Scott Mitchell comes to mind, who ends up being, he was another lefty, ends up being a starter somewhere. Do I think that they need to take it with the first pick? I don't think so. There's some other guys and other needs there. But before we go to the draft real quick, Michael Lombardi, who's a former NFL GM, 3-time Super Bowl champion, stinking Patriots. He doesn't see the it factor. Not really sure exactly what that it is, but I think when you watch it, you see some people have it. Jalen Hurts, who I really liked, I thought that was like a dark horse quarterback in last year's draft. He looks, from what we've seen, to be like an it kind of guy. He thinks we should draft a QB, and that he's not elite, that nothing he's showing is elite. I thought he'd be faster, to be honest with you. I don't know about you guys. I thought it's not that he's slow. I just thought he'd be faster than he is. Maybe it's hard to be NFL fast. So we could potentially end up with that third pick unless the Texans upset the Titans. So easiest path to that third pick is if Houston loses to Tennessee this weekend, and then we get the third pick, and then you can get a guy, hopefully, because maybe the Jets take this guy. Looks like the Jags are going to take Lawrence, but Penei Sewell from Oregon. Go watch some film on that guy. He's a beast. He's supposed to be one of the better linemen to come down the pike in a long time. And what a trade, right? I think we underestimate the trade that the Dolphins pulled off with the Texans a couple years ago when they trade Tunsil for 2 first-round picks, and I think it was 1 or 2 second-round picks. We get rid of Kenny Stills, who was, not really that great down here anyways. He's unemployed now. I think the Bills were thinking about picking him up. And then, you got that corner this year who hasn't done that much, but you got that third pick. You could have a chance to get a real good guy with that pick. The guys we already picked could still pan out, and then you got a nice second-rounder, almost a late first-round pick, because if we get the third overall pick, we're going to have the third pick in the second round too from the Texans, and then including our picks. In a perfect world for me, I think what you would do is you would get, if you have a chance to get a guy like Penei Sewell, shore up that line, because look what we're doing with that line. We just kind of started shoring it up, right? And we have less talent at the skill positions. We're probably playing with guys who are mostly backups, practice squad players at the skill positions, both receiver. And, Gaskin and Ahmed been pretty nice running backs, but probably not your prototypical every down back, either one of them. Nice third down back or, change of pace back, probably both of them. And, we're on the brink of a playoff berth. And I think it mostly has to do with that offensive line. What am I drinking? This red beer. This is called Diver Down. It's Imperial Red Ale. I kind of like lagers, so I saw it and I had to check it. You can get this thing at Walmart. Pretty good. It's like I don't think you'd be drinking this all night if you were going to drink a few, but it's nice every once in a while. Kind of a thicker, consistency, and it is pretty strong. 8.5 or 8%. So that's one of the stronger beers. So I think you go line if you can. We got to get a receiver somewhere in there. Some people say we get Smith from Alabama or Jamar Chase out of LSU if we can. Smith has a background with him. Quarterbacks, I don't. Most of these guys, Fields and Wilson, that's going to be with the first pick. Maybe you trade down and you trade down and you get more picks if you can. But maybe you get the guy from later in the draft who seems to hurt his value a lot. Trask from the Florida Gators, who opted to play in that bowl game when a lot of his teammates didn't. And he did really bad. He had like 3 interceptions. He hurt his stock. Maybe you take a flyer on a guy like that at some point with one of the other draft picks and just kind of see what's there. I mean, think about how fast NFL teams are giving up on their drafted quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Rosen, that guy's on his 4th team, and he was drafted in 2018. Cardinals gave up on him. Dolphins gave up on him. I thought at the time it wasn't a good idea to give up on him. He could have been our backup tomorrow. Hopefully that doesn't come into play. Buccaneers gave up on him, and now he's a Niner. Look at Haskins. He just got cut by the Redskins. Darnold, we're talking about drafting a quarterback there. possibly in New York. Trubisky, he's playing. He's had a resurgence now, but he was kind of in that conversation of, he was benched for Nick Foles, for Big Dick Nick Foles, and who else do you have? Wentz is benched. There's even talk of Tua right now. People saying that we should draft somebody. I even thought RG3 back in the day faded really fast. So, NFL, not for long. If you're not, it used to be guys used to ride the pine there for 3, 4, 5 years. I remember McNair sat for a long time and then came out and was really good. Steve Young had his days, in Tampa and the USFL and all that, but he sat behind Montana for a while before he came out again. Guys used to sit and hold that clipboard and learn the offense, and now it's like in and out. If you're not giving us results, look at Jameis Winston and Mariota. There was a big debate over which guy they should take there. Oh, by the way, you're probably wondering who my boy is over here. I got one of my boys here from our sponsor, Man of Action Figures. Check them out for all your collectibles. They got helmets, figures, bobbleheads, things like that. manofactionfigures.com, 27551 South Dixie Highway, Naranja, Florida, 33032. Check them out, manofactionfigures.com. Back to the quarterbacks. Yeah, so they're giving up on the quarterbacks really quickly. By the way, while I'm promoting stuff, go ahead and check out Man of Action Figures Instagram. There's a giveaway if you're into tattoos or you're just into Baby Yoda or Grogu. There's a giveaway, $1,000 tattoo from Abstracto Studios, my boy William. You could check out the post there. Contest is fairly simple. You just got to repost the tattoo post and tag 3 of your friends on it. A really good tattoo artist. Check out his page. Badass work. Kind of specializes on an anime and that type of thing, but he could probably do whatever you want. The giveaway is kind of themed on Grogu, who looks like he could be a relative of one of these gremlins. So check it out, Man of Action Figures Instagram or William Tattoos Abstracto Studios giveaway. So what else can I tell you about Tua? Do I think long term the guy's going to be elite? You already know how I feel about that. That's not saying I don't want him to be elite. I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing. Look at my decor. Look at my, lifelong Dolphin fan. Since first game I ever saw, they lost the Super Bowl. So they prepared me for heartbreak. First game I saw was them against the Niners. Brutal way to start. Just want to recap before we go a couple of the playoff scenarios. And we are going to talk more about this tonight on the live feed show at 10:30 p.m. With some of the boys when we do our NFL picks. And then Sunday after the game, just like we did for the Raider game, we're going to have immediate reaction to the Dolphin Bills game. Are the Bills going to rest people? We got to win to get in. Not really. They may pull some guys. McDermott hasn't really said, but he did pull some guys last year when they were locked into the 5th seed. And there's not that big of a difference between the 2nd and 3rd seed this year, which is where they could flip-flop potentially with the Steelers. The bottom line is they won't have to face the Chiefs until they get to the AFC Championship. So 2nd or 3rd, you're pretty good. There's not like, it's not like they're vying for a bye. They can't catch the Chiefs. But that's the easiest way to get in. Beasley's going to be out, by the way. They did say that for sure. If the Browns lose, the Finns get in. But they got to lose to the Steelers. The Steelers are favored right now. By the way, the Bills were favored. And you're not going to get any Ben. You're going to get Mason Rudolph, and maybe they try to break his head again with a helmet like they did last year, Myles Garrett. Rudolph was 5-3 last year. Can they win? Maybe. But the Steelers didn't look good with Ben. Who knows? Maybe they look better with Rudolph. The NFL's crazy sometimes like that. Another scenario is the Colts. If the Colts lose to the Jags, they get in. I don't think that's going to happen. Colts are playing for something. Jags are playing for the first. I think they have it secured already. They're not playing for anything. And then the other one is Ravens lose to Cincy. Again, the Ravens are playing for their lives. All these teams are playing for their lives. Cincinnati has pulled off a couple nice upsets, but I just I don't see any of that happening. I think we got to win to get in. And isn't it messed up that these are all 10-win teams? We're gonna have a 10-win, potentially 11. All these teams could win. Potentially, you're gonna have an 11-win team not get in, and that's even with an extra playoff position. So we added that 7th spot. If it was in years past, there potentially could be 2 11-win teams. The Dolphins have had bad luck in those scenarios in the past. So, I'd like to see him not think about getting hurt or not think about taking chances and go out there and take some risk. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say is, dude, he's a rookie. Yeah, I know, he's a rookie. Dude, he doesn't have anybody to throw to. I know, the talent's down. We talked about it. They have some of the worst average open by, I'm butchering the stat, but it's the amount of yards of separation that you have. The receivers, even Devontae and Gesicki, which are their best, are ranked towards the bottom of the league on separation. So tight windows. Fitzpatrick's playing with the same guys when he comes in there. Yes, he's a vet. Yes, I get it. More experience. But there's no excuses in the NFL. They're both playing with the same guys. That's what you got. You got to find a way. Again, I am not super thrilled that we don't have the option of Fitzpatrick, because what a freaking option that is to have off the bench. I mean, even if you had to start him, you wouldn't be like a few years ago when we had to start Matt Moore, even though a lot of people liked Matt Moore at the time down here when Tannehill was not available. Did the Dolphins draft the wrong guy? Would you rather have Herbert? That guy is 3 wins in a row. He's got a rookie record for TDs. He's got over 4,000 yards, 28 TDs. He didn't even start the year. I think he came in a couple games later when they punctured Tyrod's lung. 10 picks, 4 rushing TDs. Could have had that guy. That'll be the debate. Really good draft for quarterbacks so far, right? Looking like Burrow, looks like a stud. Herbert's looking pretty damn good. Jalen Hurts looking pretty damn good. Tua, I don't want to go that far with him. We'll review some of the draft and other options tonight on the other show that we're going to do, the live. Jefferson, I just want to mention that one. We're talking about the draft for the Vikings. That guy's having like a Randy Moss type rookie year, which is insane. Even undrafted guys, a lot of good talent came into the league. James Robinson, undrafted, crazy. So that's pretty much it, man. I hope he can put that all together, and we get into the playoffs and we get Fitzpatrick back, because it's a nice option to have. And the truth on Tua, it's going to be told in time. I think we need to draft a quarterback next year just for competition and just in case he's not the guy. Hopefully I'm wrong again on this guy. But let's fucking go tomorrow, man. Let's get a win. Let's get in the playoffs. Let's do some damage. It'd be amazing to get in the playoffs and still have potentially a 3rd pick. So, all right, guys. Cheers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.